Let's talk some sports, baby.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, we move to the NFL now and to Houston specifically, where Deshaun Watson has officially requested a trade. I think we got multiple reports about that being the case. Unhappy with the general manager hiring process, to where the Texans ended up hiring former Patriots front office guru Nick Caserio. The Texans recently hired head coach David Culley, former Ravens assistant. He'll be the head coach. And as we well know, Watson coming off that big contract extension he signed in September of last year. But now he wants out. So, Drink, question is quite simple. What did the Texans do here?
They give him what he wants. Like, at the end of the day, right? So you think about it like this. One of the things we done heard very, very common coming out of the Texans camp or the Deshaun Watson camp, however you want to look at it, is Deshaun Watson wanted more of the decision-making power, right? We agreed that GM thing was a bit stretched. Listen, you're not picking the GM. Like, knock it off. You're a quarterback. Don't worry about the GM. But the head coaching search, okay, we can understand that a little more. We'll take your input. It seems to me that the Texans, they took his input because they did get a minority coach. The problem is, did you get the best minority coach that you could have gotten? I don't know if Deshaun Watson agrees with the guy. No, bring that back. I know Deshaun Watson did agree with this pick because as soon as they announced this guy, David Culley, that I had to Google, Deshaun Watson said, I want out. And I'm trying to figure out, for me, why would the Texans, we talked about this, the Texans is the last team with an open. You have the pick of the litter now because everybody else can sign who they're going to sign. You have Eric B., the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs. You have your pick of Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. That's two options you got right there that's playing in the Super Bowl. Less known other guys that's not playing right now that you get. If you want, Brian Dable, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to keep it to, okay, we want to hire a minority because that's the way to keep Deshaun Watson happy, okay, there go two better picks right off the cuff. Off the cuff, those two dudes are better options. All right, whatever. I cannot remember a season where I done seen so many no names just get head coaching jobs. I mean, come on, man. With Dan Campbell, Mr. Kneecaps, this guy, the guy the Eagles just hired, they call him Stuttering Stan. Like, people like making fun of his press conference, Then you got this guy that the Texans just hired. His face look like it's Photoshop. I want to see him in real life and make sure that's what it is. I've just never seen so much like blatant, like we're just gonna hire somebody. We're just gonna go get somebody. Where is that Ron Rivera hire? Where is that, where is that? I mean, at this juncture, where is the Urban Meyer? He ain't even coached nothing, but where is the glitz and glamour? Where's the guy that make a fan base say, right, let's do it. Listen, for the people that tune into this show, look at Cody's face when we talk about Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. That's a happy fan right there. That is a happy fan. Now go talk to a Texan fan and ask them how they feel about David Culley. Go to a Lions fan and find out how they feel about Kneecaps. It's like, what are we doing here? Go to the Eagles fan and see how they feel. Like, seriously, where are they getting these guys from? I mean, this must be the COVID clearance rack that they're getting these guys from. Because this is not the best that money can buy. I'm sorry. I could be totally wrong. But I don't think this is the best that money can buy. No, the Texans got to trade Deshaun Watson at this point. I do understand this. They got to trade him, but it might not be this season. It might be the season afterwards. From my understanding, it would cost them more to trade him this year than just to let him sit and you just make this a lost season or something. I don't know. Or make this the first year of the rebuild for the David Cutler era. I don't know. But here's what we do know. Deshaun Watson most likely going to have to go. He don't want to be there. He's not going to perform. You're not going to do anything to make him happy. That is a done deal. So I think the Texans need to cut your losses because you can't blame this on Bill O'Brien. That's a wrap. He's out of here. So you might as well just cut your losses, get the best packages, which I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to get into the next segment, the possible destinations. It is some places where you can go get more bang for your buck. Why? Because you don't got Bill O'Brien willing and dealing. So you should get some bang for your buck this time around when you trade your superstar quarterback. But I don't think it's much for them to do. I mean, just like you said, simple question, simple answer. Trade them away, get what you can get for them, and move on. But I don't think you can make Deshaun Watson happy. He done made it clear he don't want to be there. So you got to do what you got to do.
When you consider the superstar talent of Deshaun Watson, this is a top 5 quarterback in the league. I know the Texans were really bad this past season, but Deshaun Watson was still great. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes could carry these dudes. The same thing I told you in the last segment. I don't know if LeBron could have carried Dallas to a win last night. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes could have carried the Texans to the playoffs last year. I just don't think that's something we could have seen. But this is considering the talent of Deshaun Watson and then just the institutional failure of the Houston Texans. I can make the argument to you, this is the worst situation in football right at this second. We know other teams would love to have Deshaun Watson, but I mean, the franchise, like we just figured out what the owner's name was about, 2 months ago. He finally woke up from his 2-year-long coma that he'd been in. And now he all of a sudden, oh yeah, maybe we should get a general manager. Yeah. I guess what he did was when, Nick Caserio, because he wanted him last year or whatever. Yeah. When he found out Caserio, they couldn't get him, he said, all right, well, I'll go to sleep real quick. And, I'll come back next year when hopefully he'll be available again. And then by the time he wake up again, Bill O'Brien then set the whole building on fire. They looking for DeAndre Hopkins for accountability. Oh, well, actually, he don't work here no more. He's over there in Arizona. Well, what do we get in return? Oh, we got some good stuff. We got this broke down David Johnson. He used to be good, but he's depreciated beyond belief, as we saw last year. So it's terrible. And that to me should have been, and I know I've said this, multiple times, when DeAndre Hopkins got traded, that should have been a clear indicator to Deshaun Watson. This place is, I don't know about this place. I don't know if I want to be here. And yet, he's, this is in some ways, it's a level of insanity. This is like about 5 months ago that he signed this mega deal. And now, 4 months later, it's like, oh, I want out. I think Houston's got to make and I say this, from time to time when we see this, with great players who aren't happy, but you just sign them. And it seems like, in some ways, it's just unconscionable that you'd let them go this quickly. But they got to make every effort they can to rectify this in some way. They have to.
So let me ask you this. So what do you think the Texans could do differently to change his mind?
Well, I don't know. And I don't know if this has happened yet, but I think based on what I'm reading, it hasn't. Like I don't think Deshaun Watson has spoken to the new GM. I don't know if he's spoken to the coach or the owner. Remember that thing we talked about a couple weeks ago, like the owners out there texting Deshaun Watson, like, yeah. No, you gotta get this guy in a room in the facility and sit down with him and try to sell him and get him back in the fold. Like, look, we get it. You're not happy for this way and the other. Look, the GM thing, I think we both agree. I think when we talked about this weeks ago, you don't get to hire GMs. That's a us thing. Let us be executives. You play football. The coaching thing, I absolutely agree. But if it's truly the GM thing, and I think, you know what? We didn't give you the right GM, but now we'll try to make you happy with a head coach, and you want a minority, we'll get a minority. And then they get some minority who's a minority among minorities because we don't know who the hell he is, So, I mean, I don't know, like if you're Houston, I don't know how you could like screw this up any further. And maybe it is a point of beyond no return because I don't know. You can't just do everything wrong for so long. And then maybe it is too late. And maybe you can't sit him down and say, well, okay, I know we've got about, 8 steps, the last 8 steps, we've jacked up every single one of them. But now, hey, you know what? We got Nick Caserio here. We got Mr. Cully over here. We believe in these two fine gentlemen of, football acumen. And we're moving forward right now. Here we go. I don't, maybe you can't do that. But then again, this is in the big picture, and this goes across to the entire NFL. This is a dangerous precedent to set. You mean to tell me that a guy can sign a $156 million contract extension, and then 5 months later be like, you know what? I think I'd like to leave on out of here. That's dangerous. And now you're getting into NBA territory, and I don't think that's where the NFL wants to go. I don't know.
I would say no, and that's a fantastic point. I don't think the NFL going to let this get too wild, but I do think this. I think it opened up your eyes if you a manager, if you're a general manager or you're an owner. You can't just do your player in a kind of way because he'll sign a contract and then ask for a trade, and then it's not. I mean, who's blaming Deshaun Watson at this point for asking for a trade? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because you messed him over.
Yeah, I'm not. That it's the problem I have. I'm not mad that he's unhappy. I think he's got a lot of reasons to be unhappy. My point the whole time is being there were indicators well before the head coaching and the GM search.
Right.
That I'm serious. I said this the day after DeAndre Hopkins got traded. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I don't think I'd sign an extension here. If they're gonna do you like this,
we all agree with that point. Like, why would you stay? You have nothing to stay for.
And that's the point. That's the point where I hold Deshaun Watson accountable because you knew and you had inklings of like this franchise and this organization being dysfunctional before the GM search didn't go your way. So I still think the Texans got to make every effort. They got to get his agent on the phone. They got to get him in a room. They got to try to sit down, have a conversation with Deshaun Watson and see what they can do to fix this. Because you got to remember the other thing that's going to put, that could be a factor in this is the contract that they gave him a no trade clause. So now that give Watson more leverage anyway, because now, you could have the best deal lined up. But, some of these hot destinations that people are talking about, he's got to sign off on them. So he does have some control in this situation, but it looks like it could be a standoff right now because, like I said, I think in the big picture, I don't know, maybe are other owners talking to the Texans and being like, we can't, you actually got to take a line and take a hard line for the whole league because we don't want to set the precedence and open up Pandora's box to where now, we got a franchise cornerstone that we like, we sign him to a big contract and then next thing you know, we put one toe out of line and now, I'm unhappy. Get me out of here. I don't think, no, in that case, what's the point of even having contracts? So
I just don't see the NFL because the NFL is the type of organization that will freeze you out. Like the NBA won't freeze you out.
Yeah,
the NFL will. We didn't see this. I ain't going down memory lane, but we have seen players get frozen out because they think they have more power than they actually have. I just think the reason this works is because of the pain and suffering that we done seen Deshaun Watson go through. And even though he did put some of it on himself, still you as an organization, because you still got to sign other players. You can't go out here willy-nilly and treat your best player and disgruntle your best player because we know about the shield. It's the shield of 32. So you can't just be an average Joe and go out here and do whatever you want to do because that might be your last season in the NFL because they ain't playing around with you. But no, I definitely agree. This is a bad precedent, but at the same time, I think it's a bad precedent for both the organization and for players in the future. Start paying attention to what's going on around you. Stop just saying, "Oh, well, they paying me, so I'm gonna stay here."
Right.
Start paying attention because, like you said, teams are gonna let you know how they are. We knew how bad Cincinnati ownership was before Joe Burrow got there. We knew how bad this was gonna get before Deshaun Watson wanted out. We knew how bad Cleveland was, et cetera, right? So you get a chance to see this before you sign with the team.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention.